Welcome back after puja vacation. I am going to discuss here the chapter calorimetry. We have already got in this chapter what is heat, what is temperature, the definition of heat and temperature with units. And now I am going to discuss the heat capacity, specific capacity, calorimeter, what is calorimeter, and the principle of calorimetry. Now let me discuss what is thermal capacity, what is heat capacity. Heat capacity is also named as thermal capacity. Heat capacity also named as thermal capacity. What is it? It's a new topic to you. Actually, it is the amount of heat energy required to raise the temperature through 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin of a body. If the body size is big, then it has more heat capacity than smaller body. Okay. So suppose I am discussing here two objects. Object A, object B of same material, same substance. Here the temperature will rise through 1 degree Celsius. So which will consume more heat energy? From your common sense you can say yes, B will consume or B will absorb more heat energy. So we can say B has more heat capacity or thermal capacity. So what is the definition of the heat capacity or thermal capacity? Once more, it is the amount of heat energy required by a body to raise the temperature through 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin. Okay. So here, since the mass of the A is lesser than mass of B, so obviously the heat capacity of B is more than that of A. That's why we can say heat capacity depends on mass. Okay. Now we will go for the units of heat capacity. Unit of heat capacity. Before we go for unit of heat capacity, let me discuss first mathematically heat capacity means normally write C dash equals to Q by delta T. Means heat capacity sorry, heat capacity C dash is equal to amount of heat energy absorbed to raise the temperature of delta T. Delta means change of temperature. So since the mathematical formula of heat capacity is Q by delta T, from this mathematical idea we can get the unit of C dash means heat capacity is here in SI system. In SI system is Q is measured in joule and temperature is measured in Kelvin. So joule Kelvin inverse, or we can say joule degree Celsius inverse, right, in SI system. If you go for CG system or other system, then we can say calorie degree Celsius inverse or calorie Kelvin inverse, kilocalorie degree Celsius inverse, kilocalorie Kelvin inverse. So you can go for all this unit, but keep in mind for SI unit joule Kelvin inverse. Now I will go for second topic, specific heat capacity. What is it? Let me explain. Specific heat capacity is the amount of heat energy required to raise the temperature through 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin of unit mass. Again once more, it is the amount of heat energy required to raise of 1 unit mass through 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin. So obviously it is like this. Specific capacity depends on the substance as well as depends on only substance. Okay, let me discuss with the unit. What is the unit? Before we go for unit, we have to go for mathematical formula. So mathematically we can say specific capacity normally we write SHC in short form small c is equal to Q by m into delta T. Means from here only we can say the unit of specific capacity joule, kg inverse, Kelvin inverse, right? So we will go for unit of C, means specific heat capacity in SI, it is joule. Heat is measured in joule, mass is measured in kg inverse, and delta T means change in temperature measured in Kelvin inverse. In other units, joule, kg inverse, degree Celsius inverse, or we can say joule. Other units are joule, gram inverse, degree Celsius inverse, calorie, gram inverse, degree Celsius inverse. Out of all these, you please keep in mind at least one, the unit of specific capacity in SI system, joule, kg inverse, Kelvin inverse, right? From these two, heat capacity and specific capacity, we can get one relation. What is the relation? Look here. The relation between heat capacity and specific capacity, C dash means heat capacity is equal to M into C, means specific capacity. Again once more, heat capacity or thermal capacity is equal to mass of a substance into specific heat capacity of the substance, right? Now we will go for calorimeter. What is calorimeter? Calorimeter is used to measure the amount of heat energy. Like thermometer, we have learned in lower class, thermometer is used to measure the temperature of a body. Similarly, we can say calorimeter is used to measure the amount of heat energy gained or lost by a hot body or cold body. Okay, so here I am going to discuss a calorimeter. Basically, calorimeter is a copper vessel having one stirrer. More or less, it looks like this. It is a copper vessel and one stirrer, which is also made up of copper, and the whole vessel is kept in a wooden jacket, wooden box. Better to say wooden box with wooden lid, and then there will be two holes through the lid. Through the one lid, one thermometer will be kept, and through the another lid, the stirrer will be kept. And this wooden box is also covered with some sort of non-conductor, means normally we put glass wool. We put glass wool. Okay, let me discuss once more. A calorimeter, basically a vessel, copper vessel made up of copper vessel protected by wooden jacket and covered with glass wool, so that there is no loss of heat energy by convection or radiation. To minimize the loss of heat energy by radiation, we have to keep the copper as much as possible polished, so that radiation will be minimized. Now, this calorimeter can be used for measuring the amount of heat energy gained by cold body or the amount of heat energy lost by hot body. So now we are going to discuss the last topic, principle of calorimetry. Principle of calorimetry. Before I go for principle of calorimetry, let me discuss here. Suppose two objects or two, say, substance A and B are kept in contact. Of course, we will be keeping in contact later on. Whose mass here M1, specific heat capacity of A substance is C1, and temperature is initial temperature T1. And let's think that it is hot body. Okay, it is hot body, and obviously B can be considered as cold body, right? Now here for A object we have considered mass M1, specific heat capacity C1 and initial temperature T1. And here for cold body, let's think of mass M2, specific capacity of the substance of body B is C2, and here the initial temperature T2. Obviously T1 is greater than T2 because it is hot body, this is cold body. So when you keep these two body in contact, definitely the heat starts to flow from hot body to cold body. Hot body to cold body. Now how much heat energy will be released by hot body? The same amount of heat energy will be gained by cold body. That is the principle of calorimetry. What is the principle of calorimetry in short? We can say the heat lost by hot body is equal to the heat gained by cold body when they are kept in contact. Of course, you have to think that there is no loss of heat energy in the surroundings because the heat loss should not be taken into consideration. That's why we can say the principle of calorimetry depends on the law of conservation of energy. In the law of conservation energy, we have seen that there is no loss of heat energy or there is no loss of any energy. So one body is gained and another body is lost, and that is the principle of calorimetry. Now I will be discussing here the mathematical idea of the mathematical conception of the calorimetry to work out the numericals based on principle of calorimetry. Here we can say the hot body A, whose mass is M1, specific capacity is C1, temperature T1, is giving heat to cold body whose mass is M2, specific heat capacity is C2 and temperature T2. Let's think that after this two hot body and cold body mixed up, the final temperature be T. The final temperature is T. So we can say now the final temperature is T. Again once more, we need these things. T1 is higher than T2 and the final temperature is T. So we can say heat lost by hot body equals to M1 into C1 into delta T, or we can say fall in temperature. Fall in temperature, and that one is M1 into C1 into T1 minus T. T1 minus T, that is the fall in temperature. Now we will go for heat gained by cold body. Heat gained by cold body equals to M2 into C2 into rise in temperature. So M2 into C2 into T minus T2. Okay. Now these two, this one and this one, will be using for calculating any unknown things. So according to principle of calorimetry, we can say heat lost by hot body is equal to heat gained by cold body. So we will get the last line. Therefore, according to principle of calorimetry, heat lost by hot body is equal to heat gained by cold body. Usually we get this one, and the expression is M1 into C1 whole into T1 minus T is equal to M2 into C2 into T minus T2. Now, from this expression, we can calculate any unknown physical quantity. Either you can find out M1 or you can find out C1 or M2 or C2 or final temperature, provided the other things will be given. Okay, thank you so much.